Fashion Reverie Talks. I'm Cicily Daniels.
I'm Tijana Ibrahimovic.
Fashion Reverie takes you from the front lines of fashion to the front row.
All of Fashion Reverie Talk segments are based on published content found on fashionreverie.com.
So remember, if you want more information on the segments, go to fashionreverie.com. And if you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button of this episode on YouTube.
Well, happy 2026, Cicily. Good to see you again.
You too.
So as we kick off this first episode of the season, we are happy to have Fashion Reverie Editor-in-Chief, William Gooch, to give us New York Fashion Week Fall 2026 preview. So that said, let's first start off with fashion news. All of our news segments are based on the fashion news alerts found on fashionreverie.com. So Cicily, why don't you start?
Well, what I'm talking about is a bit of a difficult subject, a little bit. As you know, there has been huge ICE raids, immigration and customs enforcement raids across the U.S., and there have been some really serious and unfortunate deaths in Minneapolis. And of course, people in fashion and people in the arts are outraged. And so there has been a form of protest in the ICE Out pin. Recently, it was worn at the 2026 Grammy Awards, and it is a form of fashion protest on the red carpet. And there's also another pin that has a protest pin, the Be Good pin, in honor of Renee Good, who was killed by ICE agents. And so both of these protest pins are part of a campaign backed by organizations such as the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, and the organizers who are promoting the use of the pin said that we need every part of civil society to speak up. We need our artists, we need our entertainers, and we need the folks who reflect society. So, we saw a lot of those pins out there, and we also have a lot of, celebrities, models, fashion designers, people who will take to their Instagram and take to their social media to let their opinions be known. So the ICE Out pin.
Never dull moment in the U.S.
I'd take it a little more dull.
Well, back to Capri Holdings that sold Versace to the Prada Group in December of 2025. So Versace has a new chief creative director, Peter Moulier, and he has been named to this position by Prada Group and will start his new job on July 1st this year. So he studied architecture and design in Brussels, and he earned his master's degree there. And he started his fashion career at Jill Sander. Later on, he moved on to Calvin Klein, where he was the global creative director, to Raf Simons' chief creative officer job. So we are awaiting for him to start his new position this summer.
Okay.
And let's see how that affects Versace.
Yeah, we will find out. Our last bit of fashion news, a little more drama in the world. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is investigating Nike over allegations that the company's DEI, that's their Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion program, discriminated against white workers. And this investigation was revealed earlier this week. And the EEOC is saying that Nike hasn't given the information that they need. And Nike is saying they feel like this is a surprising and unusual escalation. And they feel like they have participated in good faith into the inquiry about their personnel practices, programs, and decisions. And there's a question as to whether Nike has violated the Title VII by practices of disparate treatment, and this is against white employees. And so, there's a lot of investigation, a lot of kind of back and forth drama. The EEOC wants Nike to have a subpoena and have them produce all the information, and Nike says it shared all the information. So, it is according to Bloomberg that in 2020 and 2021 that they had the most noticeable increase in hiring of non-white workers among large companies, and we don't know, but it might be this shift in the racial demographics that made the EEC start this investigation. So we don't know how it's going to conclude. We do know that, for the people at Nike and I guess the people at the EEOC, they're all in the thick of it. So we'll find out what happens.
I feel like Nike has had quite a few issues lately.
Well, that is the conclusion of the fashion news for this week. But if you want to stay up to date on fashion and politics, you know where to go. Go to fashionreverie.com. I am excited because I get to talk to one of my favorite people. Fashion Reverie Editor-in-Chief William Gooch is here with us, and we are going to discuss the 2026 Olympians with style. Yay! Welcome, William.
It's good to be here. My God, it's 2026. I cannot believe it's 2026 already. We're so happy to be here. Hello, Cicily. Hello, Tijana. And excuse me, this segment, we're going to talk about 2026 Winter Olympians with style. As you know, the opening ceremonies for the Winter Olympics were yesterday.
Yes.
And they were gorgeous, stunning, with Mariah Carey singing. It looked like they kind of airlifted her onto the stage and airlifted her off. But it was a wonderful show. And I'm filling in for Sydney Yeager, who did an incredible article on Olympians with style. So she unfortunately could not talk about her article. She couldn't be with us today, so I'm filling in, as the boss sometimes has to fill in. And thank you so much for Cicely for interviewing me. You don't get to interview me that often, do you?
I don't. So like I said, one of my favorite people. What a privilege for me, and what a privilege for our audience members. So we are excited. So how do you think that she found these particular athletes as the focus for this 2026 Winter Olympic Roundup?
Well, what most of our viewers don't know, it's just Cicely, is that we have, staff meetings at Fashion Reverie, and we kind of come up, the meetings happen every month, and then we try to come up with a 2-month span of themes and articles that we kind of do. And this kind of a skeletal approach that we do, because, articles kind of come in that are not really scheduled sometimes, because things happen in fashion all the time. So our January and February themes were the Winter Olympics. And so I assigned this to Sydney because she always does such a great job for somebody so young. She's only 21 years old. Can you believe this?
No.
And she's working on her bachelor's in journalism. So such a great addition to Fashion Reverie staff. So me and Sydney kind of talked about, who we wanted on the list. I gave her some suggestions, and then she found some people on her own. So we're going to start out with Chloe Kim.
Yes, please.
Now, Chloe Kim, I'm going to have to read some of this because I didn't memorize it, but Chloe Kim is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in Olympic snowboard. She has her own collection, can you believe this, called the Chloe Kim Collection. And the collection focuses on riders who demand performance with personality. Every piece brings Chloe's signature energy to the mountain. Now, Chloe recently has a spread in Vogue.
Wow.
Where she is conjuring up images from 3 fashion eras: hip hop, disco, and another one I can't remember, but she looks absolutely fantastic. And this is her 3rd Olympics, and she has 3 Olympic gold medals. excuse me, 2 Olympic gold medals. And you know what I think is so wonderful, and I want your opinion about this, Cicely, is that we're starting to see Olympians go to more than just 1 or 2 Olympics. Because, you know, it used to be you went to 1, 2 was kind of the max.
Yeah.
And then you kind of had to get out of it because, you know, it was considered amateur competition. So you couldn't make any money. You know, people don't know that when Mary Lou Retton did the Wheaties box, she was not paid a dime for that.
Right.
Because
Because they
there
weren't
still was
allowed.
this amateur umbrella that everybody was under.
Mm-hmm.
So now that athletes can make money while they're still competing in world championships and Olympic games, athletes can afford to last longer. I just want your opinion, Cicely.
I think that that's so important because people need to be able to make a living, you know, and these are world class athletes at the top of their game, at the top of whatever sport it is that they do. And so I think it is great for people who find their way to be able to capitalize on that and to be able to express themselves artistically, if that's what it is, or whatever. You know, whatever help makes them feel joy, but also be able to live their lives because they work extremely hard.
Yes.
And for years, like most of these people, some of them have been working their whole lives, but regardless, the investment that they make is, you know, so much. It's so great. So I think it's amazing for people that are being able to go to their second and third Olympics, and especially great for those that can parlay that into success for themselves financially into some other, you know, fields and industries. And of course, I also think fashion and Olympic athletes are a great cross section because these are people obviously super fit, super,
Right.
you know, they're super capable of, you know, they know that how to take a stage of some sort. So I think that's really, really cool. People talking about people who know how to take a stage. The next person that we are going to talk about is ice dancer Guillaume Cizeron. And I really didn't know everything about Guillaume, but I literally just watched a Netflix documentary that was like all about ice dancing. It was amazing. I was fascinated. I was glued to my screen. So talk about ice dancer Guillaume Cizeron.
Well, I'm going to use a word to describe him
Okay.
that was created by the great African American professor, Dr. Kimberly Crenshaw. Intersectionality.
Yes.
That's what we see with these Olympic athletes in fashion, the intersectionality of fashion and sports. So, for those who don't know, Guillaume Cizeron, and can you believe, Cicely, I met him 2 years ago.
Oh my God, such
He
a
was
star. You're a
at
star.
New
He's a
York
star.
Fashion Week, Men's Day, and I looked across and saw him. I said, this man looks familiar. Who is this? And then I realized who he was. And you know, I'm going to say this, Cicely, you can make a comment because you know you've been on camera. People look shorter in person than they do in front of the camera. I mean, than they do, you know, on camera.
Sure.
So, you know, he looks really tall, like 6'2". He's about 5'10", you know.
That's
So I
funny.
go over to him and I said, hello, how are you? I said, I know you. I said, you're Guillaume Cizeron. He said, yes. And he was just so pleasant and so nice, looking absolutely stunning and handsome as he is.
He is an attractive human. I will give him the I said.
Okay, all right, good.
I said it's chiseled. It's together. Good for you. I said,
Well, you know, he won the gold medal with his former partner, Gabriel Papadakis, in the 2022 Beijing Olympics.
yes.
Well, you know, there was still COVID going on. There was hardly any audience. Everybody had to wear masks. So, you know, kind of the fire that we would have gotten from the audience wasn't there. So he's back this time representing France with a new partner,
With a new
Laurence
partner, the drama.
Gaudret. And they are stunning together.
Absolutely.
They won the silver in the Grand Prix final, which happened in December, behind our American favorites, Chalk and Bates. Yes, three-time world champions. So the rivalry is between those two. And Guillaume is known for his style, dressing well, his great physique, beautiful skin, and their technical dance is being done to guess what?
What?
Madonna's Vogue.
It's the Vogue dance. I thought that was them.
That's the Vogue. And they have the costumes that kind of match.
Yeah.
And I saw the technical dance last night because the team competition for figure skating is going on. So that happened last night, and I watched it. It's absolutely stunning. Using Vogue in a way ice dancers would use it
Yeah.
for their technical program.
Yeah.
And they have these beautiful kind of like fashionable costumes, and he looks great as always. So of course, bravo, Guillaume. I don't want you to win. I'm voting for the USA. But if the US doesn't win, I want you to win.
But we can absolutely salute your style, bringing fashion to ice dancing and your regular life. I think that is fantastic and such a flair. And again, people deciding, a lot of people probably thought that that was his last Olympics, and boom, Guillaume said, nope, don't count me out. I might be,
You're right.
So I think that's really cool. Okay, so let's talk about American favorite Lindsey Vonn.
Okay, Lindsey Vonn is a four-time Olympian. Can you believe it? She's
No, that is
41.
so long. That is so much Olympics. So
Right.
many
Who
Olympic
ever heard of a
games.
41-year-old downhill Olympic skier? Like I
Extraordinary.
said before, they are expanding and extending their careers. Now,
Yes.
she has won 4 gold medals. She was the first American woman to win the gold medal in 2010 downhill.
Mm.
And she won 3 gold medals for the team as a team event. In addition to that, now she has a fashion line called V Capsule by Vaughn. The collection is designed in Milan and made in, and the collection merges luxury craftsmanship with contemporary design, elevating mountain culture through motion. So we love Lindsay. We hope she does well. She unfortunately sustained a ACL tear about a week
Yes.
and a half ago in
Mm-hmm.
practice, but she's here. She's still trying to do it. So
Yeah.
we hope that she can do well, not further injure herself, and have a great um Olympics. And as people will see some of the images that are loaded, she's a great fashion icon. She just recently did a spread for the Mirror. I think I might be wrong about that. I may have to correct that. We'll put a little correction in the captions if I'm wrong because I can't quite remember. Remember, this was not my article.
You're doing
But
great.
we're so excited. And one last thing before we go, I have to give a shout out to Stella Jean, Wycliffe Jean's wife, who designed the Haiti opening ceremony costumes.
Mm.
Gorgeous, full of color. Um, Haiti only has 2 athletes in the Winter Olympics, but those costumes, I saw it in the opening ceremonies last night, fabulous. If you go to fashionreverie.com, we did a whole lineup of Olympic opening ceremonies costumes, and information about her choice and her inspiration is there. She was inspired by the great Toussaint Louverture, who liberated Haiti from French colonialism in the 1800s, and she was inspired by him. Unfortunately, she was not allowed to put his image on the costumes because the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, has rules that you cannot use your uniform, your uniforms or your outfits at the Olympics to promote any political figure or political point of view.
Mm.
So she had to kind of paint over it with
Yeah.
a red horse, which I think is still symbolic, with a crown, which is still symbolic of Toussaint Louverture, who did an incredible job of defeating Napoleon's army and liberating Haiti. And so, all kudos to Stella Jean or Jean, however she wants to pronounce it, or however she does pronounce it. So that's it. And I just want our viewers to please go to the 2 articles, 2026 Winter Olympians with Style, and also go to our article on the opening ceremony outfits for the Winter Olympics.
Thank you so much. Well, of course, it was such a pleasure having you, William. You are always welcome to be interviewed by me. And I think it's amazing, this confluence of like the greatest sports in the world, the Olympics, and this fashion that you find in the sport while they're doing it, when they are not doing their sport, with their fashion lines and just their day to day, how they show up in the world with their fashion choices. So there is a lot of fashion to be seen at the Olympics. So I hope we're all rooting for Team USA or wherever you're rooting for, but supporting these amazing, extraordinary athletes. So thank you, William.
It is my pleasure to interview our editor-in-chief, Mr. William Gooch, about the New York Fashion Week Fall 2026 season. So by the time we air with the podcast, we will already be in the midst of Fashion Week. However, it would be great to get a little bit of an insight from you, William. And I would love to know what you sort of expect and what is different about this season.
Well, as you may not know, Tiana, we as you do know because we talk outside of this podcast a lot, is that there have been some designers have already been showing, and I've been to about five shows already. We call them the pre-shows. And for those who don't know the New York fashion landscape, is that some designers, particularly the smaller designers or emerging designers, will kind of show before Fashion Week because they want to make sure that people attend their shows and they're not competing with larger brands. So I've been to 5 shows already, one last night and a couple earlier in the week. And I have to say, some of the newer designers I'm quite impressed with. And I see that they are a part of something that is shifting. We're shifting away from so many influencers at the shows back to real industry professionals. And the influencers that are being invited are really more hardcore fashion influencers, not influencers who are using fashion to promote their own lives or lifestyles or their own brands. So that is a newer shift. As you remember, Tiana, about 3 seasons ago, Ralph Lauren said he didn't want any influencers attending his shows anymore. Now, I don't think he really meant that. I think he meant the influencers who, for whatever reason, get the chance to go to shows and sit in the front row and really only promote their own lives. They use fashion as an excuse to promote themselves, and they don't really do a lot for the brands. So I'm already seeing the shift. And Fashion Reverie has gotten a lot of invitations this season. We're really excited. I will be going to quite a few shows. You will be going with me. So that's even more fun to be sitting next to somebody that I can talk to during the shows. Maybe hope not talk too much.
Comment to it. Yes. Someone to comment with.
Could comment with. Hopefully I won't have what people call the resting bitch face while I'm sitting in the front row. So I'm excited.
So, in your opinion, is New York fashion faring better than in the past few seasons?
I think there's still some fundamental problems. We still don't have a main venue, so it's a lot of running around. And it's really taxing, particularly somebody from my age, to be running up and down Manhattan, back and forth down the street, in cabs, out of cabs, on the bus, on the train, hoping and praying you don't miss your show because the train is delayed. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So unfortunately, we're still dealing with that. Hopefully that will change. There's something the CFDA and the powers that be really need to work on. So that's still a major challenge. But as I said earlier, there are less influencers who don't really serve the industry well. That phenomenon is really shifting, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And there's some new brands that are looking wonderful. I went to a couple of them in the week before Fashion Week. So I'm excited.
So what would you say would be some brands that we should keep an eye on?
Well, one of my favorites, this is a brand that we love so much from bridal, Esse Azenabo. She's showing at next Saturday. I hope this will air before she shows, but she's showing at the 91st Street Mansion, which I've never been to. I didn't even know 91st Street had a mansion, but she's showing at the 91st Street Mansion on 5th Avenue. So she always brings her wonderful infusion of fabrics and embellishments and sequins and jewels onto her clothes. Sometimes they're a little overdone, but I love that she always includes older models. So it's not just It's always something to look forward to and something different. And I'm very excited about her ready to wear because she does ready to wear as well as bridal. So that's one show I'm excited about. There's a new brand called Taab, Taabe. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. Their show is next week. And this young designer uses bubble jacket material, almost like balloons, as fabric. Now, some of it looks a little unwearable, but fashion is art, so why not have fun?
Of
So
course.
I'm in tons of color. She has a butterfly motif. That's her signature motif. So I'm excited about her. I'm really, really excited about Pamela Rowland, who we all love. So we're going to her show as well. So it's quite a few designers I'm excited about. I went to a brand last night. Um, oh my God, his name just left my mind. Yosha Mazel, that's his name. And he does wonderful.
Wonder.
Huh?
No wonder it took you a moment. It's
Yes,
not.
yes, yes, yes. Yosha Mazel. And he does wonderful outerwear. And I'm really excited about him. Brand new young designer. So there's quite a lot to look forward to.
Any other brands that you're excited about that you're not really familiar with at all and don't know what to expect?
There's a brand called Jenny that we've been invited to. I like her. I went to her website. I like her style, but I'm not familiar with her really at all. I'm really not familiar with her. And there is another brand, Diatima. They've been around for a while, but I've never been to their show. So I'm excited about going to her show. I'm also going to Gabe Gordon. I'm excited about him. Not too familiar with his collections that much. And I am familiar with Elena Velez, but I'm going to her show as well. So like I said before, lots to look forward to.
You have a lot of shows.
Yes, I do.
And
I'm going to
really,
pass the ones I can't make it. I'm going to pass on to you, and hopefully you can go.
and what about like in between? Are you planning to party or go to some fancy lounges?
Absolutely, absolutely. I am going to a jewelry launch on Wednesday.
Mhm.
And they're going to serve one of my favorite things, canapes. So it'll be canapes and champagne. So
Hey.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to a wonderful party event with Black PR. They're based out of Britain and they have a couple of shows they're showing in New York. And they've been collaborating with our style editor, Renesta Oles, a lot. And we've done some editorials using some of their brands. So I'm excited about that party. And, Fashion Reverie, we make our own party. So there you go.
Good. Well, thank you so much, William, for all the insightful tips about New York Fashion Week. Have
Thank
fun.
you. And I'll see you next week
Yes.
at the shows.
Yes. Looking forward.
Well, viewers, that's it. This first episode of the season of Fashion Reverie Talks.
We would like to thank Fashion Reverie Editor-in-Chief, William Gooch.
For information on these and other stories, go to fashionreverie.com. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.